Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, your host. We're broadcasting here at the Las Cruces studios, and we're broadcasting on Las Cruces channel. Now, my series of shows lately has been about the Hispanic community. And there's two reasons why I want to interview Hispanic folks is because I'm a minority. An old white guy here in southern New Mexico is a minority. 68% of the population is Hispanic, so I want to understand the culture. But there's another reason. There's a strange phenomenon. Most of the Hispanics are registered Democrats. Now, I don't care if a person is a registered Democrat, but I just want them to understand that when they vote, if they vote their traditional values, which most Hispanics seem to be, that's not Democrat. Now, the Democratic Party is socialist. So, my special guest today is Vicente Garcia. Vicente, welcome aboard. I say that because Vicente is a retired captain of the U.S. Navy. Now, a very impressive person with a very impressive background and history. So, Vicente, why don't you tell us about how you came to be a captain in the U.S. Navy, retired, with a lot of other credentials on board, but yet you had some humble beginnings. So tell me about what it was like growing up.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I grew up in Anthony, New Mexico. Okay. I went all the way to Gaston High School. When I was 8, my father got murdered. He died. He left 14 of us.
14 kids.
I was number 7. At the same time, my poor mom was only 5 feet tall. She took care of us very much. A tiny little house, 2 bedrooms for all these kids. It was fabulous. But when I was going to school, my teachers were Anglos. Okay. Most of them. They were fabulous people.
Okay.
No bias, no nothing. They really worked hard to get us educated.
One of them I know is Chuck Wendler.
And Chuck Wendler's a fabulous. He's my physics teacher.
He's a good friend of mine.
He is fabulous, and his wife too.
Okay.
But when I was growing up, since my dad died when I was in 2nd grade, I started to become the janitor. For the
janitor.
Janitor, clean toilets and whatever. So I was in Anthony Elementary. To get a 15-cent token to eat, I had to go work for 2 hours.
Wow.
So 7.5 cents an hour.
So you had to help out with the family. 14
we all
kids,
did.
holy
We
smoke.
all did. We all jumped in. So I was working the janitor. My brother did too. So we cleaned the cafeterias after school. We did a very good job. Then I went to the junior high, did the same thing. Right. I went to the high school, did the same thing. So I was a janitor. My number one specialty is to clean toilets, sweep, swap, everything.
But I heard you also worked the fields as well, right?
During the summers and the falls, I would pick onions, I would pick chili, whatever was out there to do this. So my father put me to work when I was about 5 years old. And he said, you make 10 sacks, onion sacks, you can go to La Sombra. Little shade tree. I said, okay, Dad. And he made the first sack so easy. He said, man, this is going to be simple. It took me all day long to make 3 sacks.
3 sacks of
onions.
Of onions,
yeah,
okay.
Each one was 10 cents, so it was 30 cents.
Oh, my gosh.
And I still remember that day. I said, Dad, I failed you. And he looked at me, no, you did 3 sacks, 30 cents. It's better than nothing. So, but I grew up to be an onion picker. My whole family was. We'll get up 5-4 in the morning. They will pick us up, the whole family, in a big old truck with a bunch of other families, and we would go out to the fields and pick. At the end, I was an expert. I made 150 sacks a day. Yeah, it's about $22.50. Okay.
They didn't have welfare back then, but you don't seem like the type of person who would even consider such a thing.
We worked, period. So it's unbelievable. And my mom was always really proud. I played trumpet in school. My mother was always there because she loved her. All of us played some instruments. She was always there. Plus, in high school, I took all the technical courses, all the way to calculus, physics, from Chuck Wendler. And I took everything, mechanical drawing. My house I drew up was built in Barino.
You designed your own house?
I designed the house in mechanical drawing course. I did the housing for that. I took electronics. I took everything I could because I knew by the 4th grade, Mrs. Keller asked me in front of all the, what are you going to be when you grow up? I told her, electrical engineer.
How did you come up with that idea in the 4th grade?
Because my older brother, a physicist, had a guy that came in. He was a black guy, And he stayed with us, and he kept telling Frank, electrical engineers are better than physicists. And I wanted to be my brother.
So you were listening to him.
I listened to this guy, and smart guy.
Yeah, but you had to apply yourself. You applied yourself in the field when you worked. You applied yourself as a janitor. You kept the job for how many years? You helped the family out. Yeah. You had a work ethic when you were a child, but that was instilled by your parents, I guess.
That was instilled by my mom. Because Mom says, you have to work. We do not take charity.
You see,
work.
This is something that I find in the Hispanic community throughout. Traditional values, hard work ethic, don't take any handouts, work for a living, everything
you
that
missed
is
one,
fair.
Most important one. No drugs, no marijuana, no beer. We did none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? Hoping that none of my families would do that. Okay, so none of us. So it was very hardship, but the most important was it was a drug-infested area we were in.
Right.
And we didn't do it.
Right. No, I hear you.
We stayed flat. So that's more important than anything. I can only tell the audience, marijuana is bad.
Well, I have a personal story. My son just passed away last year, and he started out with drinking, marijuana, went to drugs, hard drugs, and he died as a result of drugs. And I mean, that's really been hard to take. And
that's
but it's so easy to get involved in that. But if students, look, guys, all your friends that are going to try and get you to try different things, they're going to be ones that are going to be on the street corners with a cardboard sign saying, please help me. You don't want to do that. You apply yourself in school. I didn't work that hard in school, and I was a B+ student without even trying.
Great.
Well, if I would have applied myself, well, heck, I could have been
president.
Well, I don't know if I'd want to be that job, but well, let me ask you, since we're talking a little bit about politics, are you a Democrat?
I was a Democrat for many, many, many years. My mom was a Democrat. When we voted, they would actually give us money.
Oh, you see that, folks?
It was
paid for your vote.
Not good, okay?
Right.
I told my mom, pero pobrecita mi mamá. She died, but she was different. So, but she was honest too.
Well, years ago, the Kennedy Democrats were a whole lot different because now it's not Democrat, it's socialism.
And I've been to 30 different countries.
Oh, that's right, in the Navy.
I've fought wars. Socialism destroys the country. There's going to be few rich people. All of us are going to be poor.
Right.
Okay,
right.
That's what socialism is. And I cannot tell you the horror stories I saw personally.
I mean, to me, that's what I don't understand. I don't think that people understand, especially the Hispanic community, that really you can hold your traditional values. Your solid family structure is a very good thing. That's something us Anglos could learn from you. But when you vote, you have to vote your values, conservative values, not socialism. And that's exactly what the Democrats are putting out. So we had two people that I could have voted for that were Democrats, Mary Kay Papen and John Arthur Smith. But the Democratic Party took them out because they were too moderate. It's like, holy smoke, folks, you can't vote for any Democrats now. I can't. So anyway.
I played trumpet.
Yeah, okay. So you had a little fun doing all this work?
I had Bugler's Holiday with two of my good guys in high school. We had all the audience, all aghast.
I got to hear you play sometime.
All that good stuff. But the neat part, I had a lot of fun. I played in a band, Vicente Garcia, Jose Luis, a very famous band back in the 70s.
Okay.
We made albums. Then I didn't play for 25 years. I came back and I started playing with local bands.
Okay.
So it was good. But the reason I did stop because I had an accident. I died for 22 minutes.
Whoa. Wait a minute. What happened? Tell me this story.
Okay. I was just my first semester in college. I was driving my motorcycle. This young girl went through a stop sign. I was already at the intersection. I hit the car. I bounced off. Jaw broke off. Hands broke in 3 places. Leg broke off.
Whoa.
No heartbeat for 20-odd minutes.
Holy smoke.
But doesn't matter.
Well, you're here.
I was with Jesus at that time.
That's another point.
Jesus said, you need to go. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here.
You liked it there.
I loved it. It was unbelievable. But Jesus took me, says, you have destiny to fulfill.
Wow.
I have things you're going to touch a lot of people.
I would like to think it's to be on the We the People show with me. I don't know. That's part of it, I hope.
It could be part of that, but I saw that throughout my career.
Wow. Holy smokes.
I'm turning 68, and I saw a lot of that stuff, where I was there for them, especially for my sailors. When I was still, I'm a retired Navy captain. I'm a retired flag officer for civil service. I'm retired from the state of New Mexico. It's an educated professor. I taught at 6 different universities. Not only did I do all these other things, but I did a lot because God meant it to be.
Well, I feel sometimes that I'm motivated to do what I'm doing. Obviously, you were motivated from age what? When you were born, I guess, age 4 or 4th grade?
My dad pushed us hard.
And now, okay, so you graduated high school.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I went to college, New Mexico State. There was my math teacher, Ed Taylor, was a very nice guy. So he went and talked to Dr. Carden at New Mexico State. I have a kid that wants to be an electrical engineer. And he said, I'm going to give him a scholarship. So he brought me a $500 scholarship. Remember, tuition was $110 at the time.
For resident.
Books were like $10.
Wow.
Okay.
Not anymore.
$500 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I went in, I played trumpet, with the band here in New Mexico State, but I took electrical engineering courses. Within the 3rd week, I died.
Oh, while you had that motorcycle accident then.
I died.
Now, wait a minute. That had to put you out of commission for a while. How'd you finish your classes?
So what I did, I couldn't finish the classes. So they dropped me out. They took me out. My sister went out to New Mexico State, got me out. So I went back. I went down to about 70 pounds of weight.
Wow.
70 pounds.
What's your normal weight?
At the time was about 125.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I went down to 70.
You were bone.
Palito. Flaco. So I came down and I said, I got to do this. So I started going to New Mexico State. So I took the clipped exam, the clipped out of 12 hours.
The what? The clip?
College level examination program, which I can clip out of some courses for free. Okay. I paid $30 for it, but
So you challenged these courses?
I challenged these courses, and I got the courses done.
So in other words, and I've done this too, where you actually, you study the material and take a single test?
I didn't study the material at all. I just took the test. I was pieces.
You must be genius
No,
level.
I'm not.
Well,
it was the man up there.
I hear you.
Okay, it's not me.
No
so I took the courses. I went to college. I went double E. I took one semester.
Double E, that's
electrical engineering.
Okay, electrical
and
engineering.
I went for the semester and the summer. Something came into me, says, you need to go work. So I went to the co-op office in Annex, Garcia Annex 224.
Okay.
And they said, we have several job offers at White Sands missile range. Woo.
Now, wait a minute. Now, okay, at what point in your...
It was my first semester, after my first semester.
After your first semester at New Mexico State, they offer you a job at White Sands Missile Range.
I had 30
And you got a scholarship. Well,
yes, and I got a scholarship.
You didn't get this because you were Hispanic. You got this because you were top of your class.
I wanted to be there, and I was.
You studied.
And then Mr. Kondo, the guy that hired me, GS-15, said, I'm supposed to have 6 guys here. You're the only one, Mr. Garcia. You're hired.
Wow.
Who does that?
Again.
Exactly.
I know.
So I worked for a guy named Herb Gosling. Man, that guy was...
Herb?
Gosling. Super great. The best supervisor I ever had. The guy put me to work. So I did the Fortran programs. I did...
Computer programs.
Fortran. I did the analysis of the radar systems. They would do upgrade a radar system because they was getting old. I says, why are you doing it? It might not need to be done. I'll do the histogram. I'll do the histories. I'll do the Fourier analysis. And the guy said, you're right.
Okay.
So
we're going to take a short break. Hold your thought. Folks, this is exciting.
This is for the
amazing.
Students. All the students can do what I did.
Okay, this is possible. Now, we're going to have a second show that's going to tell you just how to do what Vicente done. So come back and we will continue this discussion with Vicente Garcia.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, your host. We're here with Vicente Garcia, and we are broadcasting at the Las Cruces studios, and this is the Las Cruces channel. Vicente's telling us about this fantastic story of his life where in the fourth grade, he knew what he wanted to be, an electrical engineer, and he's making that move, working very hard, one of 14 children, number 7 of 14, struggled, worked hard, good work ethic. So now, okay, Vicente, so you are in college and you're approaching your degree, I think it is.
Yes.
So tell us about this.
Well, my last semester I took nuclear physics. Okay, one of the great. So I took it, and then a guy comes in white. It was a Navy lieutenant with shorts on, white shorts, white socks, white shoes. What kind of uniform is that?
He must have looked gay.
It's what I said.
No offense.
No
folks.
offense, but I thought that too. So, but he comes to me. Mr. Garcia, I hear you're the smartest guy in New Mexico State. He says, you got that one right. Which was not right, okay.
You're not modest, okay.
But he said, how would you like to join the Navy? Are you crazy? You guys are all druggies. He says, why you say that? Because all my cousins came out of Vietnam all drugged up.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He says, well, you're right. That was 72, now 77.
Okay.
We fixed that problem. He said, I know what. If I can give you 4 wishes, would you apply? I looked at it.
So you get to make 4 wishes.
I get 4 wishes.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what you
And
asked
I said,
for.
okay, I want a direct commission, no boot camp.
No boot camp,
He
okay.
says, okay, I can do that. He says, I want to teach.
Okay.
I can do that. I want to go to a college, wherever you send me, to get my master's degree in electrical engineering, and the Navy pays for that.
So you want to continue your education. You had this in your mind
It's
all the
already
way
in
from
me.
the 4th
It's
grade.
already in me.
Okay, okay.
And he says, I can do that. What's your last wish? Man, I got to get out of this deal. I want to be next to Mickey Mouse.
What?
Exactly.
You wanted to go to Disney World.
No, he got the answers. Okay, here's what we're going to do, sir. You're going to see Admiral Rickover, the father of the nuclear navy, for an interview.
Okay.
I'll set that up. If Admiral Rickover gives you, it's a direct commission, no boot camp. You will live in Orlando, Florida, teach nuclear power for 4 years. That's what you wanted.
Wow.
You'll be University of Central Florida is right there. You get your master's.
Near
We'll pay for
Orlando.
that. And you'll be at McCoy Air Force Base, 10 miles away from Disney World, so you can go see Mickey all you want.
So you see, folks, the whole point is that Vicente did so well in school, applied himself so well, he had a good, strong work ethic, so he could set the rules of his career. When the father of the nuclear navy asked him what he wanted, he said, this is all I want. And because he worked hard, didn't do drugs, didn't do alcohol,
Yes.
he made his own, wrote your own ticket. Amazing.
So I went to nuclear power, got my degrees. So when I finished my tour, 2 admirals came to me, Ramsey and Negler, 3-star, 2-star.
Oh.
Lieutenant Garcia, we need a guy that's really smart to start a brand new program at the Naval Postgraduate School in Space Systems Engineering
Postgraduate school.
in
space-
Monterey, California.
Oh my gosh.
And-
Is this Space Force?
It was the beginning of all that.
Wow.
So I said, Negler,
Don't tell
Ramsey,
me you made another deal with him.
No, Ramsey said, son, can you make this happen? I looked in his face, Admiral, if I don't graduate #1 in my class, I failed you.
Wow.
So Negler, the big boss, said, hire this little guy. 2 years later, graduated number one in my class.
You know, I've heard the term bantam rooster, and I think you fit that bill. Tough little guy. Okay.
I was a little guy. So
Okay.
I started the space program, graduated with distinction from the number one school in America. Nobody. Los gringos could beat me. Un chicano de Cruces.
Good for you.
I did all that. So I did that. Then they said, we're going to send you to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Okay, you're going to do some space stuff. I had a budget that won $1 billion. So I said, I can do that. So
Wow.
I started the blue program. Then all of a sudden, the Admiral pulled me out. He said, you're going to go to Special Ops.
Now, what's special ops?
That's to save people, from military from dying.
Okay.
So they sent me over to Europe, and I did a great job.
Okay.
Oh, the new Admiral and I didn't see eye to eye, so I had to leave the Navy. I said, oh, you want me to resign? Look, Lieutenant Commander Garcia resigns today. Here.
So they were taking. They thought you were bluffing.
Yeah, and I said, here, sign it, sir, and I'll leave the Navy today. He said, okay, what are you going to do now? His boss was sitting next to him. I want to start hiring him. How would you like to work for me?
His boss wanted to hire you after you just resigned.
Exactly. He says,
Now,
right
so-
in front of the other guy. I says, yes, what do you want to do, sir? I want you to be my special guy in this special place. He says, civil service? Yes.
So it was a civilian job.
It's a civilian job.
Okay.
Very powerful job. So I said, got it. So I took the job, did a great job. But then my son was going to the 11th grade. So I told the big bosses, I have to leave. I have to go back to America. So they said, what are you going to do? I don't know. So a little paper came in, says, we're looking for professors to teach at the academies, Air Force, Naval, and Marine Corps, and the Army side. So I said, I'll apply for the Navy Academy and apply to teach at the Air Force Academy. I won't teach the other one. It's Army. So I got interviewed by 3 colonels and 3 captains, and the list came out. 30 of us applied for each one. Number 1.
Whoa.
In both sets, I put in number 1. So now I had a choice to teach at the Naval Academy, which I really wanted to do, the Air Force Academy. But my son came to me, Michael, said, Dad, I really want to go to the Naval Air Force Academy.
He wanted Air Force.
Mijito, you're the most brilliant kid there is in America, but you're not military. So, but I'll do it because you're my son. I love you so much. So I took the job. I went out to
At
the Air Force Academy. After that, I supported Peterson Air Force, Schriever Air Force Base, Cheyenne Mountain, and all those places.
Wow.
It was a 3-year tour, so it was a great job. And then eventually, I had to move on. So that's when I was selected to be a visiting professor at Monterey, California, where I got my master's
A
from.
visiting professor.
Yeah,
Geez,
fun.
I'm seeing a young kid in the onion fields and the cotton fields picking. Folks, this is a perfect story about how there is no limits as long as you apply yourself, stay away from drugs and alcohol.
Exactly, no drugs.
That's it. And you have all the opportunity in the world. And you know, to me, again, I'm going to talk a little bit about politics. The Democratic Party wants to keep people in a level position on a welfare. New Mexico is a welfare state. We have to change that. But the Democrats will keep you here at welfare just satisfied. But when you take charge of your own life, there's no limits to what you can do. Obviously, Vicente has done that. So
I got over 150 awards, medals from the biggest guys, from the president on
because
down.
you applied yourself.
Because I was doing the math. God, when He touched me, when I died, He gave me the authority to do the things I did.
That's another thing about the Hispanic community. It's a Christian-based community. Faith in God, faith in family,
Yes.
freedom. It's all there.
No socialism. That's the only
Oh
thing.
gosh,
And that's where we're heading.
Well, only if we allow the people in office
We
to stay
will
there.
do our very best to stop them.
I know.
I know. that.
Well, people don't understand this. The first step is to understand who it is you're voting for, and first we have to have honest elections, which I'm fighting right now. So I have a court case in that I'm suing the county clerk,
You're gonna win.
Secretary of
You're
State,
gonna win.
and a senator. Well, if God is my judge, we will win.
But remember, in all marriages, there's a good wife behind you.
Oh, well, tell me about. Now, okay, with all that you've been doing, with your work, you're all around the world, and obviously you had a son, so I imagine you're married. Tell me about this woman that supports you.
Lucy is unbelievable.
I had Lucy on the show a couple weeks ago.
She's better than I am. She really is. She talks to God every day. And I hear the conversations.
Okay.
So, yes, she's God-loving. She, I drank one beer one time, but I'm allergic to alcohol.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing. And she didn't believe, so she put her hand in the back of me. She found all these 1,000 little bumps coming up.
Because you had a drink of beer.
Because I wanted to tell her that I'm allergic to beer.
Okay.
And
okay.
she's just, so I was teaching at USC for 3 years without her.
Okay.
She was here, and I was over there.
Southern California.
Because I had to. Job. They paid me good money, unbelievable money.
Right.
So, and I created the program that they wanted. 3 years later, I told them, we'll do it 3 years, then I'm going back to the postgraduate school. So I went back to government to finish up, because at the end, I had my 30 years, 3 months of government time. That's called retirement.
Wow.
I had 30 years, 7 months, and 7 days of military time.
Wow.
And I had 6 years state time in New Mexico State.
And the government paid for all of your education.
Right.
You started off with a $500 scholarship to a college, and you parlayed that into a master's degree in electrical engineering.
Right. Wow. And think about it. I worked at the fields making onions, 150 sacks, $22.50. As a contractor, I was making $160 an hour.
$160 an hour. Now, in the next show, you're going to tell our young people that they can do the exact same thing.
They can do it. They're better than I am.
The opportunities out there. And you know, like I said, the faith is so important because God put people in situations in your life and my life, and if we recognize those opportunities and take advantage of them, bam, you can go as far as you want.
Look at what God did. When I joined the Navy, I don't have this eyesight. So when they said, put your hand over, what do you see in the letters? E, F, G, whatever. Now use the other hand. Okay. E, F, G. They didn't even catch it.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
did that for 30 years.
So
What can I tell you?
Hey, if they're listening, you're in trouble.
I'm out.
What are they going to do? Take back your pension? No,
but I
don't
did
think
all
so.
my good jobs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, God meant it to be. That's
Yes.
always meant to be.
I
and
agree.
all you got to do is do this right.
Yes,
And,
I agree.
and
The opportunities will be
follow
there.
the laws of God.
Yes.
If you don't, you're lost.
I've had so many people on this show, Hispanic folks. Like I said, 68% of the people here. I'm the minority. But to understand the Hispanic community in southern New Mexico is amazing. The work ethic, the Christian values, the family values, it's amazing. So we're just about out of time.
Pentagon says, how many more Chicanos are there like you, Vicente? There's thousands in New Mexico.
Listen up, folks,
Thousands,
because the
really.
opportunity's there. Well, listen, we're going to have another show next week, and Vicente's going to tell you folks, young folks, how you can do just what he did and make tremendous amounts of money. So this is Dave Gallus, your host, with Vicente Garcia, Captain, U.S. Navy, retired, and he's got the formula for success coming on the next show. Don't miss the next show. We're broadcasting out of Las Cruces studios. This is the Las Cruces channel. See you next week.